Today I'm joined by Gilda Wake. Gilda is the Managing Director of 3Link IT Solutions, and they provide professional IT support and consultancy services that have all the advantages of having your own in-house IT department, but virtually. So, hi Gilda.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Now, look, thank you for joining us. So, Gilda, for anyone who doesn't know 3Link IT Solutions, how would you
Mhm.
describe what you do and who you do it for?
Right. Well, we are an IT support, like you just mentioned. We're an IT support company based in Canterbury,
Mhm.
and we help businesses streamline their technology, improve reliability, stay secure in an increasingly digital world, as you can hear all the time in a press about, cybersecurity, hacking. And it's not only that, we're looking at, we offer a really kind of huge range from day-to-day IT support to network management and to the cybersecurity, cloud solutions, strategic technology planning. Essentially, we really make sure that our clients run smoothly so they can focus in running their business. Because as you know, any interruption in technology, it's really, really critical because businesses lose money. So we're trying to stay at the top of it, but also we are very human faced technology in a world full of kind of press one for first line support, press two. So yeah, that's our unique selling point is we build these wonderful relationships with our clients. We understand their business, and then we kind of create the support they need based on their needs, not on what we try to push, so to speak.
Okay. Yeah, so you tailor it to their
We
needs.
tailor it very much to the businesses, and we have such a variety from lawyers to dentists to construction industry. So we're not really focusing on a specific industry either.
Okay. No, look, thank you for explaining that. And look, I completely agree that, yeah, look, when we don't, for some reason, our IT stop working, we realise how much we rely on it, don't we? So
Oh.
it's really important. So Gilda, I always like to find out why people became business owners. So,
That's
what,
a very loaded question, really.
yeah, so what,
Um,
what, what made you become a business owner?
well, mine was through a little bit of an accident, so to speak. So I met my husband, and he already had a successful IT company at the time. And I was fascinated by what he was doing, to be honest with you. And I don't have a background in IT whatsoever. I'm a humanist. So um, I was amazed how people deal with uncertainties on a daily day-to basis, and the courage to start a business. And initially he said, well, why don't you just help us a little bit, And I was like, not so sure. I had a full-time job at the time. I was working in legal practice. I was very happy. And then I had my son. And then that was the time where I kind of thought, you know what, I need more time. And it came out from the drive, but start with having a bit more time with my son while he was small. And then I kind of got the bug, so to speak. And I think I realized, and it took me a while to understand that actually I thrive on these uncertainties. I love the fact that I don't know what's happening next, but also I love the human connection, love building relationships with people. So slowly, my husband did let me work for it. He didn't actually land it on my plate, and he kept saying, we're very good at what we do technically. We don't ask you to get involved in this, but you still need to prove yourself. So that was really a nice challenge to get out of your head and do something completely new. And it was painful to say it wasn't an easy journey, but I love the fact that I could develop a new skill. And I think for anyone who wants to start a business, just be brave and courageous, really. But you need to love what you do. You need to find that grounding element about why you're starting a business. So that is, and honestly, the thrilling solution, because we went through really a tough time. We had another IT company before, but then 2010 came, and we had clients who went onto liquidation, dragged us with, unfortunately, down. And literally, like I know, like a phoenix, we started rebuilding everything from almost zero.
Okay.
And that was a challenge. But we really enjoyed the because people already knew us in the area, and we created a good reputation, and it worked.
Okay, great. Look, thank you for sharing that background. So, so there's three sort of partners in the business.
Yes,
Yourself, your
yes.
husband Stephen that you mentioned, and
And
Trevor.
Trevor,
Yeah.
another younger, who used to be our employee in a previous company, which is really a wonderful story because he worked for us for about 4 or 5 years,
Mhm.
and then he decided to travel the world. And
Okay.
then he came back, and we offered him an opportunity because we valued him a lot, and it was one of the best decisions we ever made.
Okay, great. And so how do you split the roles within the business? Because when I introduced you, I
Right.
said, right, okay, you're the managing director
Yeah.
of the business. How do
Hmm.
you split the roles between yourself, Trevor, and Stephen?
It was actually a really, it's very important to communicate. It's very important to look at the strength each one of us brings to the business. And I think that was for us sitting down and trying to work out what my strengths are and
Mhm.
how do I actually enhance the business was a quite a good journey of discovery and self-reflection. So I deal with the contracts, the legal side of the business as well. All the management of the clients, the checking in on a monthly basis about how everything is going, any developments they want to do,
Yeah.
HR, recruitment. So all that is my area, and overall development and drive of the business, including social media, marketing, and all that. I think so. A little bit of a jack of all trades because when you're in a small company, you can't really have, as much as we would love to have different people doing different roles. It's really hard. So our business really is driven very much on um, the the organizational side, but also the technical side. So Stephen is very much involved into big projects, consultancy,
Okay.
cybersecurity essential, and
Mhm.
Trevor is on the operational side, really the day-to-day, making sure that the clients are happy, they are looked after, they have a really clear understanding, and nobody is really coming to the point where say, well, our SLA says it's 4 hours and it's 5 hours later. So we thrive on that human approach, and relationships.
Okay. Great. And what would you say the biggest challenge is that you've faced being a business owner?
Oh, these days, it's quite a difficult one because the biggest challenge I think is at the moment is obviously technology. Technology is amazing, but it's advancing extremely fast, and we really need to stay agile.
Yeah.
That's the key at the moment. That's the challenge, making sure that we're not stagnating. We're not kind of thinking, well, we always done it this way. That's all it works. It doesn't. And also educating our clients as well that there are different ways to put automatic things in place to work more efficiently. So that's, I would say, that speed of learning. It's the biggest challenge we have at the moment because you need to stay fluid and
Yeah.
learn as much as you possibly can.
Okay. Good. Great. But you're absolutely right. I mean, the pace of technology changing at the moment, from what I read, is that it's happening at a faster pace than it's ever happened before. So
Mm.
yeah, I can understand that being as a business that's primarily in that industry, being a challenge. And what would you say the biggest learning is that you've had since you've been in business, Gilda?
Oh, the business, the learning. That's a y- the thing is with learning in a business, when if you think about it, you don't just turn up to work as a 9 to 5 job and you get your salary.
Mm,
You really, really need to, again, to stay agile. And I think for me, the biggest learning is that relationship is everything.
mm, okay.
Definitely. I think is wherever is with the clients, with the staff, with our suppliers, I think technology constantly changes,
Hmm.
but trust and communication are timeless.
Yeah.
And when people know you are reliable, you authentic, you genuine, everything else falls into place.
And they're often words that I hear nowadays about being genuine and authentic. What does that
Mm.
what does that mean to you, Gilda?
For me, it's about being truthful. I'm not originally English. I come from a communist country where you really genuinely have to call black, black, white, white with
Yeah.
a little bit of flexibility.
Mm.
And for me, one of the biggest learning things here have been speaking your truth,
Hmm.
remaining who you are. So without being rude, of course, but
Hmm.
just saying, look, this is our perspective on what is happening here. How can we work together to mitigate all these kind of problems? So for me, being genuine and authentic is being as crystal clear as you possibly can with the knowledge you have and being as honest as you possibly can, because I know everybody is looking at a quick buck. And look, I don't judge, everybody's business is different. But if we going somehow at the pace of some businesses go at the moment, literally trampling over others,
Hmm.
is not going to work.
Yeah.
So I think collaboration is wonderful. We can't do everything, as I said to you before. And if we don't, we partner with people we trust and we know they deliver a good support.
Yeah.
Without like, oh, I can do everything for you, And I think people get trapped into that. I really want this, and I can promise you the moon and the stars, but when it comes down to it, I can't. So I
Yeah.
think for me, being genuine and authentic is just remaining true and being vulnerable, saying, look, I can't do this or I don't know this. It's nothing wrong with that. Nobody knows everything these days, do they?
No, absolutely. And I think, yeah, well, as you say, particularly, well, even if somebody did know everything, which I agree with you, nobody does, tomorrow they won't know everything
Oh,
because
exactly.
things are happening so quickly and changing
Yeah.
at such a pace. So even if you think you know everything now, because things are changing so rapidly, you're not going to know everything tomorrow or the next day or the next week. You've got to continue to learn. Um, and
But is the, yeah.
how important is that to you, Gilda, that you continue to learn um, and develop and implement those learnings into the business?
To be honest with you, I'm an autodidact. I always have been. I love learning as much as I possibly can and not being pigeonholed. And I think that's because I love to grow. And
Mm.
this is not about showing off, it's just about adding value, either to my business or to my clients, being able to be a bit savvy about things which people don't always expect. You in IT, what would you know? But it is really, again, coming down to that relationship and that communication. And you said about knowledge and information. We literally, anybody can learn anything with the stroke of a key at the moment. If I don't know something, I can just Google and find out, right? Okay, I need to have a bit of a hierarchy of thinking to know if this is true or if this is not true. But in the same time, the knowledge is a completely different ballgame. Are
Yeah.
you able to take that information and transform into a knowledge? And that's where is the key. And
Yeah.
you do need to, you need to put effort. You can't just say, I know everything there is out there, especially in the world where everything is moving extremely fast.
Yeah. And I think also the other thing is that we have to be aware of, because you're absolutely right. The access to knowledge now is immense. We've got greater access to knowledge than we've ever had before with with the internet, with AI, with the numerous books that have been written, with
Mm.
podcasts, with audio books, everything. The key thing though is, as you say, turning that information into knowledge, but then also turning that knowledge into action.
Oh, yes, you just nailed it there. Because, I know a lot of people, very smart people, but taking something which is in your head and you understand and putting in practice, bridging that gap, it's so important for businesses and relatable. You need to relate to people as well. You need to have the language to connect with people, because if I were to go to a client and speak really in a very technical language, they will not understand and they will just like, whoa, I'm not getting that. So it is really important to be able to communicate clearly, which like you said, AI now. I mean, we know people who really use AI for everything, but when you read, I can tell you that I get an email, I know it's not written by that person,
Exactly.
and it's a wonderful tool to have, but not to be used how some people use it. And you have to be really careful because you can lose clients. You can lose a bit of credibility a little bit. So yeah.
I agree. It's yeah, and I agree. You can look at emails and see whether they've been written by AI or not. And there was something you mentioned earlier that I just wanted to pick up on that I thought was really great, where you sort of said about, we were talking about being genuine, authentic, and you said about, yeah, that means being truthful and honest. And again, I think the thing to add to that as well, and which you were certainly alluding to in what you said, is to be truthful and honest, but with kindness.
Oh,
We can be truthful and honest with people, but not necessarily do it with kindness.
mm,
And I think it's been about truthful and honest and with people, but doing it in a kind way, doing it in a way that is to their benefit and to their
benefit.
importance to them, rather than, as you sort of said earlier, rather than being an open and honest, but then trampling all over people to win.
To get what you want. Yeah.
That's not kindness. So I think it's about being truthful and honest, but communicating that with kindness.
Absolutely. And don't make people feel small, or don't people feel like inadequate because, like in our industry, if I go to a client who has absolutely no idea, I can't judge them because the whole point is for them bringing me in is to bring value to them. And they don't need to know though, but they need to understand how it supports their business.
Absolutely, yeah. And
Yeah.
and if there is something, let's say that you go into a business and you notice that their IT systems aren't great, you can be truthful and honest with them in a way that, for instance, you could laugh at them and go, ha, 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 your systems are rubbish. Look at what you've done. That's awful. Or you can communicate that in a kind way and
Yeah.
tell them, okay, look, we can enhance your systems, we can improve them, we can make them work better for you.
Hmm.
It's the same thing about being open and honest, but communicating in a kind way rather than an unkind way. So
Absolutely. And I think you can't trample and you can't put another business down either, and I've seen it a lot because if I've got a client who's not very happy with their IT and they reach out to say, can I have a quote from you in terms of support? And I go in. So I'm the first port of call. I go in, do a bit of an assessment of what they have, basic assessment of what they have. I never criticize the previous business because I don't know the relationship. The only thing I can point out what I can do to support that business. And, genuinely, I need to put my words into action because promises, they come out and bite you in the back. Doesn't matter. You might get the contract, but they will leave you. People assume that because you're in IT, people are scared. And it's true. There is an element of fear of changing the IT company. But if
yeah,
it doesn't work for you, you can't just stay just because you're scared. You just need to make that change, that leap of faith. But you need to make sure that um, you get references from people, you get businesses who that company supports. We really thrive very much on word by mouth, as much as wonderful as social media is.
yeah.
We do most of our clients come through referrals from our existing clients, and we have clients who've been with us for 20 years, over 20 years, if you believe it or not. And that says something about our business.
It certainly does. It certainly does, Gilda. So, look, Gilda, I've got one question I always like to ask everybody that's kind enough to
Mm.
join me on these discussions. And the question is this: what is the best advice that you would give to an 18-year-old you?
Oh, wow. I am a very, oh gosh. Um, I had in running in my head that question for years because you develop, you change every single year, and you think, oh, I wish I've done this and I wish I've done. You can't live with regrets. What you can do is grow from it. But if I were to look at my old 18-year-old, I will tell myself to trust the process. That's one thing, not be afraid to take risk. So
Mm,
just have that courage with vulnerability, which is something we don't do very well because if you think about the idea of success, we compare ourselves with others.
yeah,
And the social comparison is the death of our authenticity and our who we are truly. And we don't show up as our authentic self because we want to be better. But then it's one thing to aspire to someone, And it's another thing to try to copy someone because you think that's a model and that works.
Mm.
So just trust yourself, invest in yourself as much as you possibly can, and be vulnerable. Just say, you know what? I don't know, but I am willing to learn. And I think things rarely go exactly as you planned. We know that. And embrace that uncertainty, because every experience, bad, good, teaches you something incredibly valuable. And we don't listen to that, you see. We just kind of go like a 200 miles an hour trying to reach our destination without really looking at the journey we create. And we too desperate to become successful,
Mm.
and we forget the process itself. And for me, that's what definitely is. And just remind myself that consistency and integrity always pays off in the long run. Just don't look for a quick success there, because you'll never remember it either. And it's not sustainable either. You need
Yeah,
to
that's
build.
some great stuff that, just to, reiterate some of the things you've said there. You said trust the process. Don't be afraid to take risks. Be yourself, be vulnerable, be consistent, live with integrity. That's some really great things to share. So thank you very much for that, Gilda. And look, Gilda, I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today and sharing more about your business, but also your journey as well. So thank you very much.
No, thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to see, especially someone who cares about the community, the local community as well. And it's a great kudos to you, because it takes a lot of your time and a lot of research to get the right people, or the people in there to put the experience. So I'm grateful for that. So thank you so much for that.
That's okay. Well, thank you for saying that. And it's been a pleasure talking to you.
Likewise.